بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أيتها الأخوات أيها الإخوة أحييكم بتحية الإسلام تحية من عند الله مباركة طيبة السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you so much for this invitation. It's a pleasure for me to come here for many reasons, in fact. And I want to start by thanking ICNA for this invitation here. On my way, my last visit, this visit in the States, I've been able to meet also with Brother Mundir Abu Ayman in two other places, in New Jersey and in New York before coming here. And it has been a pleasure to attend, but also to support the work that was presented here this evening. Having said that, it seems that for the coming future, and maybe beyond that, I will have a special relationship with Dallas. And as I'm coming here with my family, my wife Iman and my two daughters, Mariam and Najma, and my son Musa, and there is another one, Sami, who is now just preparing for his last exam tomorrow morning, their time, so in a few hours. So your dua for him as he's not with us here. And I also want to thank Sister Sami and her family, starting with our brother Omar, who is not here in Chicago, and then Muhammad, who is not there, Usama, who is here, Shaima, who is not there, and Radwa, because it seems that it is the case with inshallah, alhamdulillah, our families now are connected, and then I will come back, inshallah, in this city. It's part of us here. We'll be here in the city of Alhamdulillah, without going to too much details. But I wanted to say that because it's important when it comes to speak about Islam, not to forget the essence of our religion, because we are talking about believing in Allah, serving Allah by serving the people. And the first dimension of everything that we are doing is our families. So there is no point to go around the world to speak about Islam if we don't care, if we are not serious about protecting our family, our wife, our husband, our children. This is the starting point of our religion. And it might be that for the future, we should all be very careful not to be colonized by something which is coming from this consumerist society, a way of life that is not putting families in the center, only with words, but not in reality. It should be us, with our understanding of Islam, our principles, colonizing positively the United States of America by making it a centrality in our life, our family, our kids, our children, and the essence of our religion. I heard that ICNA started this work in '68, and that's, of course, a long time ago. I have been following and supporting, not from here, but from Europe, many of the activities of this organization and so many others. And I think that what we have heard this evening is important. They asked me to speak about a very sensitive topic for us as Muslims today, which is this relationship between our faith and us being citizens and American citizens for you in this country. But let me tell you something. On the long run, I'm quite optimistic. I think, inshallah, bi'awnillah, our future in the West is going to be a bright future. It's going to be positive. By the way, we are not here by accident. We are not here by accident. Not only we are learning from our historical experience as Western Muslims now, as American Muslims, we are learning a lot. We are learning how we have to come back to our religion and to understand that there are things coming from our cultures of origin that are not really Islamic, and things that are Islamic that we have to reassess. Not the fundamentals. The fundamentals are not going to change, but the way we have to understand our religion, the way we have to deal with the priorities, the way we have to deal with spirituality, with love. It might be that we came here out of a divine plan for us to reassess the essential teachings of our religion. So we are learning. Anyone who is here, who has been a father, a mother over the last 2 generations, knows that we are learning how to be a Muslim. It's difficult, it's a challenge, it's a jihad, but we are understanding our religion in a better way. Well, alhamdulillah, the new generations are even sometimes, because of the challenges that they are facing, more educated as to what are the priorities and in which way they have to deal with the religion. So we have to be optimistic on that and understand that we are learning. But it's not only this. In the long run, we also have to think about our contribution. We should be a gift to the United States of America. We should be a gift to the West. We don't want the West to be distracted. What we want is the West to be reformed in the name of values that we are sharing with our fellow citizens. Not only to Islamize. We are not here to convert the people. We are here to be the witnesses to our message before people. As to the conversion of the people, is not of our business. You are not, and you have no right on any heart on the planet. It's not of your business. عليك البلاغ. You have to spread the message. Now, what is happening in every single heart is not of your business. The one who is having in his power, in his mercy, in his presence, the heart of every single human being is the one. Allah la ilaha illa. It's not us. And even the Prophet ﷺ is asking him to, as for ourselves, we don't know even if tomorrow we are going to be believers. ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. We are asking Allah to help us to stay, to remain Muslims tomorrow, and to follow the path, because we don't know what could happen with ourselves. So we have to be very, very humble and not to count, as the Sheikh, I want to thank the Sheikh Abdul Nasser for, he knows why. I'm not going to add to this, but I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart. But the point here is to get it right, that our role here as Muslims in the West, and you here in the United States of America, is really to get it right. The point for us is لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ, that you have to bear witness to the message before people. How are we going to do this? Let me start with something that happened last week in Norway. And I want you to get it right, because I will tell you something. For years until last year, my sense was what is happening in Europe is not going to happen in the States. And what we are facing in Europe today, and you should understand that when you have challenges, these challenges are sending you back messages as to what are the priorities in the way you deal with your religion. It's not enough to say we know that spirituality is the center. Of course, we know that our الروحانية والربانية كونوا ربانيين. So that this is what we need to be. We have to be connected. We need this. We know that this is central. Now, the way we are going to understand that, the way we are going to get the message, the way we are going to implement this, is also for us to understand the context. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ was very powerful in the way. He got the message, but he knew the people. He was dealing with his culture. He was dealing with people in Mecca, and he tried to understand the very culture of people in Medina. So he knew the people. And later, we had the great scholars, Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, for example, when he gave the list of every conditions that you need to have to be a mujtahid or a mufti, someone who is delivering fatwa, halat al-nas. You need to know the situation of the people. You need to know where you live. Because this is, the context is going also to send you a list of priorities. that you need to get. It's not enough to repeat. What is essential for us is to get the essential in a specific context and to understand where we live. We are living in the United States of America, and over the last year, we heard messages coming that are attacking Islam as an alien religion, a non-American religion. And in Europe, for the last 15 years, everywhere, and you can see this, it's not only in France, because many people are talking about France because they heard about the headscarf. In my country, Switzerland, for 4 minarets now, they are banning the construction of minarets, saying the Muslims are colonizing. What does it mean, colonizing? That even myself, in a primetime TV program with someone who is the leader, the spokesperson for the Swiss People Party, he told me, we made a mistake with you, we gave you the nationality. Meaning you are too much a Muslim to be a good Swiss citizen. This is the narrative behind. And the narrative behind, the rationale behind, is to make it clear, Islam is not a Western religion. You are the other. And this is what we have been facing. And in fact, for years we had the populists, and we had the far-right parties saying this. The problem, and be careful, is not only the rise of the populist parties. The problem that we are facing in Europe is the normalization of this discourse among all the other parties. What yesterday was said by the far-right parties and the populists, now is said by all the parties. That Islam is an alien religion, that as Muslims, what you want is to colonize the country. You want to change the very essence of our culture as Westerners and as Western countries. This is the rationale of all the discourse, and it's spread around fears. And people are full of mistrust toward Muslims. 75% of the French, when they hear the Islam, they think about violence. Now, this is what we were facing. And here we are dealing with one who is an extremist from fundamentalist Christians. And he is reading manifesto where it is said that the Muslims are colonizing the country, and in fact immigration and Muslims are changing the very culture of the European country. In a country where no one could have predicted that something would happen in Norway. Because this is not the country, they are not used to such violence. And it happened there. What all the people started to say, oh, it's not us, he's only an extremist. So very quick to be innocent and to say he is the guilty, he is the extremist. When it happens with Muslims, all the Muslims should say, oh, we condemn it. As if when it comes to someone who is in fact, it's an extremist, yes. He's not representing. But what we should say, if you carry on this discourse about Islam being an alien religion, that we are threatening the very essence of Europe, you are nurturing such attitudes. You should also get it right. Your responsibility is to be very cautious. The atmosphere is negative. So anyone who is following the trend could do something which is extremist, and he can kill. So, as European Muslims who have been facing this, listen to what you have now in your country. What you had over the last year, when you had all this controversy about the Park 51 in New York, when you had this burning a Quran day, when in 18 states and now up to 22, we have people who want bills against the Sharia implementation. You might think that they are not going to win, and in many states they are not going to win, but in fact they don't want to win. This is not the purpose. The purpose is to spread around the fact that Islam is a danger. There is a threat. So the atmosphere is bad. And you think that we should go for legal advice and resist. Of course we should do all this. But there is something which is more important. Get it right. The conservative, the Tea parties, What they want in this country is to make Islam a problem. You want the statistics? Just after September 11, 10 years ago, 66% of the Americans thought that this was done by a tiny minority. They were not representing Islam. This was the first reaction, and this is why we got such positive reactions by the Americans, saying, no, we are with you. We are ready even to protect your mosques. And they did it, and they were there. 10 years later, with all the work that we are doing, and we should carry on doing this work, now 73% of the Americans, 73% of the Americans think that the Muslim presence in this country is a problem. So it's not a tiny minority, it's Islam now, which is a problem. And if you listen to what is said about your president, President Barack Obama, it's exactly doubting his faithfulness to the identity, the American identity. Asking the president, we want to show your certificate of birth. Where are we heading? So I want you to get it right here, that what happened in Norway, and as it was said, the first thing that we have to do is not to be happy that it's not Muslims who did it. It's just to send and to convey our condolences. Let me say that, now it comes in French. Condolence. To the people. And to say, we are sad and we will never be happy that people are going to be killed. We are against all extremism. We are against violence. We're against killing innocent people. So this is the first thing that we have to do, and we need to mean it. We need to get it right. We have to feel that there is something wrong, not to be happy because it's not Muslims. And not even being happy, some were happy that they made the mistake thinking they were Muslims, just to say, oh, we told you, as it was said. So this is the first attitude. And the first attitude is this one. It's an attitude which is based on our principles. And then we have to think about that. What happened there with all this atmosphere? How are we going to resist? How are we going to respond to this? How are we going to respond to such an atmosphere in the United States of America? And this is where we need to get the central question about the relationship between our faith and the relationship between our faith and our citizenship. Now, we have a choice here, which for me it's important. When all the rhetoric that we have in Western countries now, and by the way, Canada is the same. Before in Canada, it was only in the French-speaking area because they were very much influenced by the French. Now it's not only in Quebec, it's also in the English-speaking area. And immigration is becoming a problem. And when they speak about immigrants, it's not exactly the same here, but now you have a new discourse even in the United States of America that immigration is a problem. While this country knows, all the politicians, they know there is no economic survival for the United States of America without immigrants. It's not possible. We need them. But the discourse is to reject culturally and religiously the people who are coming. You heard about Arizona and what was happening with targeting the Latinos the way it was done. We should not accept this, but there is a discourse. And what, again, is meant by immigration in Europe is mainly Muslims. And you heard about this rejection of the Turkish presence and the integration of Turkey within the EU. It's all the same. We need to have this comprehensive approach. The problem that I have with some of our brothers and sisters when they are working in organization is a lack of this comprehensive understanding, a vision, which is responding to the comprehensive understanding. When you have a comprehensive understanding, you understand who is playing, that there are many players. Some, they have an interest by making the Muslims outside the mainstream in the States because they have a problem with the Middle East. Some others because they have a problem here with culture and religion. We need to know who are the players and at the same time be clever with the people who are attacking us and respectful towards the people who ignore us, who don't know about us. Our fellow citizens, they need to be taught. They need to know more about Islam. We need to respect their questions and we need to resist the instrumentalization of their fears by politicians. And don't think that at the top of your government, that in some organizations and think tanks in this country don't think it's a question of ignorance towards Islam. They know exactly who you are, for whom you work, what you do and what you don't do. They know. And sometimes they are going to attack you and pretending they don't know, or tell us about violence, tell us about jihad. They know exactly. They want just to attack you and to pretend not to know. And you waste your time being reactive. Why do you have to respect the people who don't know and face the people who are playing with their fears? And this is something which is so important that we see now some Muslims, they are confusing everything. They talk to the people, the speeches that should be sent to the politicians, and they speak to the politicians as if the politicians didn't know anything about Islam. Some don't know and some know. And we need to get this picture corrected and better understood. And this is your job as American citizens. Ordinary citizens at the local level, you should know how to work and get a vision. What are the priorities here in Dallas? This is your job. So let me tell you something. What is said by the populists, by the Tea parties or the far-right parties, all these parties that are now trying to make Islam a non-Western religion, they want to marginalize us. And there is something that we need to avoid, and we need to avoid it in a clear way. What is said and what we understood when we studied what was the attitude of the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca. He was rejected by his own people, and he carried on speaking as all the prophets before him, all the messengers. Ya Qawm, you are my people. You don't like me, you don't want me, but I want you. I want to stay. I want to spread the message. He had to leave when it was quite clear that they wanted to go. This is not your situation. You live in this country, and there is something that we have to avoid. Anything which has to do with the victim mentality is not Islamic. Never nurture a victim mentality. Oh, we are the victims, you don't like us, and we change our attitude to please the people. There is here a sense of priority. We are not here to please the people, to change our religion, to make it acceptable. We are not here to become moderate Muslims, meaning for some Islam without Islam. We are not here to feel victimized. We are here with our humility, but our pride. We are here to remain Muslims, and we are Americans and Muslims at the same time, and that's it. Look. I need to remind you of something. Once again, it's something that I'm saying everywhere. Think about it. When you like what is said, please just be silent for 10 seconds and think about it and meditate. But what we just heard is better than to clap. Your emotions are making you forget what you are clapping for. So just think about it. And then the second thing is, as I'm always saying, it's product.